Let's begin and take a look at the fundamentals of relational databases. A lot of this information is going to be familiar to you because we've seen this before when we were looking at basic data modeling. Here we are looking at it in terms of a relational database. So we have entities and attributes. Okay, we've got a class. And a class in the relational database model could be a person, place, or thing, transaction, or event about which information is stored. And they could be grouped in that REA, are resources, events, and agents that we also have previously taken a look at. Attributes are characteristics, properties, or adjectives that describe each class. We're going to find three main constructs here with our relational database. Okay? We're going to have a table relation, which is the primary construct used for data storage with rows and columns, much like a spreadsheet. Each table in a database represents either a class or a relationship between classes. Tables need to be properly linked to make a relational database. So the columns in a table are going to be called fields that represent the attributes or characteristics of the class, while the rows in the table are called records or tuples. And the records represent all the specific data values that are associated or stored within that table. Here again is some review, the keys and relationships. We know that a primary key is an attribute or combination of attributes that uniquely identify a specific row in a table. And a foreign key in the relational database model serves as an attribute in one table that is a primary key in another table. And a foreign key acts to provide that logical relationship or link between the two tables. So to begin to understand this, let's go ahead and just look at an example, which is just the simple process of selling or reselling a phone. Here we've got, it looks like gizmos and gadgets, okay? And it looks like they've got one product, and this is the description, the Apple iPhone, with a price of $399. And let's see how this was going to flow for us. So we're taking a look at an invoice. We've got an invoice number, and we've got a customer here. It looks like it's Mark Wagstaff, and we've got his product number. And let's go ahead and take a peek. So here we have an illustration of the relational database using those primary and foreign keys for gizmos and gadgets. Okay, we've got a customer table, we have a sales table, and we have a product table. So now if we remember, the columns represent data fields or attributes. So customer name, last name, customer first name, while the rows, those actually represent our records. So here we see Mark Wagstaff coming in as a record. We're also identifying that in the customer table, our primary key of customer ID is showing up as a foreign key in our sales table. Same with our product number down in the product table. Product number is our primary key, and that is a foreign key for the sales table. This is going to allow us to pull data from the different tables maybe into one report by using these linking different attributes, being in this case if we wanted maybe information from both the product table and the sales table, we could use product number to be able to query that information from both tables. And just some quick reminders here is that the primary key of a table must have a data value. It cannot be null. And that's called the entity integrity rule. And the referential integrity rule means that if it's a foreign key, that it either must be null or it must match the data value where it already exists in a corresponding table. So just some reminders. Going into a few more basic requirements of your tables, each attribute in a table must have a unique name. The values of a specific attribute must be of the same type. Each attribute, being the column, or record being the row, must be a single value. This requirement forces us to create a relationship table for each many-to-many relationships. And all other non-key attributes in a table must describe a characteristic of the class identified by the primary key. So that's a quick overview of the fundamentals of our relational database. In the next video, we're going to actually look to see how we would do that in Access.